Nadja, Andrasev for The Noise of Licking. Momo, one of the most famous school that we have in Europe. You first work on live action. You didn't came to animation first.
Yes, I actually worked in live action for many years as a second assistant director.
Why did you change?
Because I was always interested in animation, and I actually worked with Ferenc Rófusz before going into the live action industry, but it was a time when it was difficult to get jobs in animation, and I didn't have a degree, so I accidentally started working in live action, and it consumed me. Like, you have no time after the end of a 16-hour shoot to draw anything. And then for many years I did that, and suddenly I realized this is my last chance. I will apply to MoMA, which I didn't think I would ever get into because I didn't take drawing classes. And I had the greatest luck, and I got in, and it changed my life completely.
Is there a lot of students like you in MoMA that don't really do animation first, and they like to put different style like that, or no? You were.
I think it's a mixture, but I think most people have done drawing, they have some kind of drawing background. So, and in the master's program, of course, most of them come from animation.
You did a thesis? A thesis, yeah? What was the subject of it?
my thesis subject was animated sex scenes. Yes, it was fun.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Well, I mean, it was fun to do it. Yes.
So you took what? Every animated sex scene that you have in film, or did you what?
Oh no, not every. I had to make a selection, but I went through many films actually, and just put some kind of categories and examine them from the point of view of symbolism and abstraction and stylized sexual scenes. So I just wanted to talk about that.
You not only direct film, but you produce film, no?
No, I production manage animation now.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave the live action film industry, and I started production managing some films at MoMA.
At MoMA, yeah,
yes.
Okay. So you can do, in MoMA, you can, when you do your film, you can go to the production people, and you say, can you produce my film? Or is it something that you can do at MoMA, or no? It's only animation and...
You mean, sorry, I think I...
No, it's okay. It's there is different departments in MoMA. Could you go to another department saying, oh no, you're just doing it
I'm sure I could do it, but I was very interested in... I wanted to be in animation and help my friends make their films. And so since I came from an assistant director mindset, I thought I had a way to help them. And like Limbo Travel was the first animated short that I worked on as kind of like production manager in Hungary.
That was in competition last year in Nancy. Let's talk now about, of course, The Noise of Licking. That's a tale about what? Seduction? Seduction between two people. There is just... Where did you came, this idea came in your mind? How did it come from?
Actually, yes, it's about desires, and not only seduction, but desiring something that's maybe forbidden. And the idea actually came from a short story written by a writer who is very famous in Hungary. He's now 80 years old, Ádám Bodor. And I read his short story because I was, well, not because of that, but I read his short story during a time when we were taking a short writing class at MoMA in my first year in the master's program. And I loved his story so much, but the film is inspired by that, so it doesn't follow the written text very strictly. So I went off of that story, and I took a situation that was in it, the woman watering her plants and the stranger watching her in her own living room, and I really loved that, the bizarre quality of that scene, and that's where I started from, and then I worked backwards and added some more erotic, surreal scenes in it.
It's a nice, bizarre thing. It's not a really, it's strange film, but a really nice way. Do you have some influences at one point that people that you look at said, okay, I won't be too much. But you said that this wasn't sexy, and then you know went to, oh, that's what I want to do, and not that it's too harsh or too bizarre or too.
Actually, I always get inspiration from different places, so it's not even always animated films. So I cannot say that I had one mentor to look up at, and actually the sexual scenes were difficult. I left them at to the end, and that's why I did my thesis paper on it, because I really wanted to find out what is a good way to show. If I show too much or too little, is it not brave enough, or too much but for no reason? So that's why it was, I think for me the most difficult part was actually there's this surreal, erotic scene in the middle of the film, and I left that to the end after my thesis paper, actually.
That's interesting, because that's something that we have difficulty to do also still in animation, love scene. I mean, we have some, but not so many actually.
Yes, this is, I'm not saying that I don't find a love scene in another film that I love, but I didn't find any good example that I wanted to base mine on. So I just wanted to explore many, many different films and see their symbolism and how it's built up. So.
How did you build the story, actually, the screenplay? You told us that it was not an adaptation, it was taking from the story. How did you work with it? I thought it's so well done. I didn't know if you took a lot of screenplays or it was, a storyboard first, but I thought maybe it was writing a lot, no?
Yes, actually I didn't write I didn't write much. Well, I wrote down some ideas, but I drew storyboard images, and because I started in my first year, and we had to get to an animatic first. So I did an animatic, and then when I decided that this would be my graduation film, I went back and I redid it, because it was too straightforward. And in the end, I left out some parts of the story, like neighbors and things like that, because they were not so important. And I wanted to make it more surreal, because I really wanted to show what goes on in the head or the eyes of the viewer. So it's like a voyeur cat and a voyeur man. And when we go inside their eyes, what they see is actually more enhanced than what the reality is, even though reality is a little bit strange too, but it's even more strange in their eyes. So all of the black backgrounds, that's why they are black, because it's like we are in their eyes. I mean, it's
You already won 2 prizes in 2 festivals with the film. Is it great to go to festival, and of course to get prizes, but I mean to share the film with others, and maybe to find producers and things like that? Is it something that you try to do in festival?
Actually, this is only my 3rd festival with this film. I've been in Annecy before in 2012, but not with a film. My big dream was to come here. Like, that was my ultimate goal, and so this is the 3rd festival that I go with this film, and it's really, I don't like to talk about prices, because it's not, like, this is a new situation. Now it's a bunch of new films, but yes, it's I guess it's more easier to be approached by people when you win something. It seems unfair, but that's how it is. But I'm working on my next short film in development, and so it's exciting to be, I think it's important to, when you go to festivals with your previous film, to actually have the next one in line, because people will ask you about that. Yes.
Do you have a producer already, or somebody?
In Hungary, yes, and this story I developed it during Animation Sans Frontières, which I did right after graduating from MoMA. So it was a very busy year. Besides production managing, I was working on this next short. So I'm in the development right now, and I have the Hungarian producers, but we are applying for Hungarian funds. And who knows, maybe I will have a co-producer or not.
It was good to do Animation Sans Frontières, to see, because you're going to for a lot of countries, Germany, Hungary, France, Denmark, yes. And it was good to see all these people, even producer and giving, having feedback on your film. Yeah.
Yes, it was actually great. I mean, they were giving us feedback on the next project, and it was so exciting by the end. Like, first I wasn't sure how it was gonna go, and I'm very afraid of pitching. But we pitched in Paris, and there were some French producers there, and it was a really liberating feeling. Yes, and it was so interesting to see all the schools, because MoMA can be different from Gobelin. So my school is, I really liked going there, and I think it's great to attend even as foreigners. But there are differences between those schools, and it's so interesting to see other students' works and get to meet them. So it's just very inspiring.
So even the differences make,
Yes.
film stronger and finally, and more interesting.
Yes.
Est-ce qu'il y a une question? Do you have a question for the noise of licking? Yes, one question, just there. Sorry, thanks. Just là.
Hi.
Hi.
You are obviously very interested in the sexual scene in animation, and I think it's very interesting. And we've seen a movie called Belladonna 2 days ago, and I discovered it, and it was awesome. And it's an old movie, and I think it has been inspiring for a lot of people. And I would like to know if you saw it and if you liked it, and what did you think about it?
Well, my thesis was on short films, but I know about Belladonnas of Sadness, and I've seen parts of it, and I think it's crazy. But I couldn't watch it in Annecy. I really want to watch it, definitely. But I couldn't see it yet here on the big screen, which I was planning to. But what I've seen of it is, I think it's really inspiring, yes.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.